can't remember if you. He's like, this is how I got hired and wanted. This other place is we can't work our whole lawyer house. They're just like, what? I mean, it's not like bad. It's just not anything.
This is kind of what most of my is on, and it's like turning on and off. Your files are exactly where you want them. All your files are exactly where you want them. I'm like, normally I wouldn't believe that. Normally I wouldn't doubt that, but for some reason.
Josh's?
For some reason. It was like,
Organized,
I'm wondering. We haven't done anything weird. And I saw it and I was like, I know that if I try to tell him out,
See, that's.
I could help him with his resume. He'd be like, you don't know him. Clutch, man.
They are.
I
know.
I'm like, yeah,
I've done a lot of resume writing in my time, and I know it's different with this, but at the same time, you don't want it to look like shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I'm just gonna go.
like shit.
No, like that's what I'm saying. This is fine, but like, I was just very surprised that he was like able to get. Like a mirror jobs.
I think that you
So don't install Compass or Tim?
I think it said don't.
there was no compass in
At least
instructions
you're
in mine.
being like sideways.
I signed this
This was a little bit. That's why I told him.
We'll see. We'll get there. All right. Good evening, everyone. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. Welcome back. I hope everybody made it after Project 2. So see a class training. Hopefully everybody is running late. Who is not here?
Nick
All right.
needs to be let in.
Nick's not here.
Who's not here? He dropped. he got tired of you guys. He's like, oh my, that's it. I'm
These
done.
are lost causes.
Yeah.
Nick's like, I'm done. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I haven't lost faith in you guys still. So I'm here.
Not yet.
Not yet. All right. Okay. Before we jump on to our lecture and lessons, I'm going to take a few minutes, and I'm going to talk about. Well, I'll start with the project that you guys did, and then I have some advice and some scary stuff for before we get into the lecture itself. Okay.
Scare us. We've already tried.
Right. No, I think it's working.
She doesn't speak for me.
Yeah.
You usually scare me.
All right. Okay. So initially, before we jump onto our MongoDB and all that stuff, I want everybody to please focus what I'm saying. You don't need your computers right now. Just listen, especially you, Joffrey. Please listen to me. Okay. Again, this is not like a discussion. I'm going to give you feedback for your projects. Okay. All right. So So whatever feedback I give, I want you guys to know that it's not the feedback. I have compiled feedback not for just one team. So whatever points I have, this is common between 2 or more teams. Okay. So if this comment resonates with you, please don't think I'm targeting you. It's you and some other team also. So multiple teams have faced the same issue, which I think I need to address. That's why I have those points. Okay. And you might be like, well, there are only like 7 teams. You'll be surprised. I feel like I have 11 teams, even from other class, and people reach out to me. Again, I don't mind. It's fine. Teams from other teams also reach out to me for advice, and they have kind of similar issues which you guys have. Okay. Again, I don't complain. I'm not sure why I'm the one who gets reached out every time, but still, I try to resolve all issues. What is it? I didn't.
He's being CS.
You're everyone's
okay.
superhero.
All right.
So.
So anyway, I gave the same advice to them, and I'm going to bring. I had this feedback or some of the stuff that I wanted to talk on Saturday, but I saw everybody was tired. I was like, you know what, I'm going to drop it out. So I'm going to talk to you guys. Will have to bear this and listen. Just you guys. Okay. So the first thing is some of the positives. I'm surprised you guys actually delivered. To be honest, last week Thursday, I was getting status and I was getting scared every time the next project, and I was like, oh my god, are you guys even going to deliver? Because presentation was a Saturday. Thursday I'm hitting so many issues. I'm like, oh my god, this should have been resolved, but you guys came through, so thank you very much. And it's an achievement itself. I don't know what you guys did, how you guys did it. Maybe you pulled all-nighters. I'm pretty sure some teams did. People were working, presentation morning. Because when I was coming on Saturday, I was like, you know what? This time I'm going to say, if you guys want to do it on your computers, you want to show in localhost, it's fine. Just show something. But there was not a single team in both classes that had to go through that. Everybody had a deployed application somewhere, Heroku or somewhere else, but everything was accessible. That's a great achievement, and I'm very glad that you guys didn't break the record of nobody has. Till now, nobody has done localhost in my class, so I'm very thankful for that. So that's a good positive. Whatever your difficulties were, everybody came through. Okay, so please give yourself a hand, and I'm glad that everybody somehow made it. Okay. Second thing, there were a ton of learning. You should realize that you guys learned a lot, right? Other than this class, I mean, whatever the syllabus is, going other outside the syllabus, you guys learned a lot. Whatever it might be, a new technology, how to resolve some issues, how to resolve some bugs, right? Everybody learned it. And I got this feedback. A lot of people came to me and said, with this project, we have learned a lot, which, not necessarily we learn from doing our homework assignments or activities, right? They might be related, but again, good learning opportunity. And this is what I say, this is the job of an engineer. Please don't stop learning. This is it. I'm going to do this, and that's it. You won't last in this industry for long. You guys know, 10 years ago, today, a lot of things have changed, right? If I was stuck in the same 10 years ago, there's no progress. Nobody is going to hire me if I'm still doing the same thing that I was doing 10 years ago. Okay, so keep on learning. Keep on seeing what's coming up. Even with the same technologies, versions change. Then incorporate new stuff. So keep yourself, familiar with the technology. Okay. Already talked about the persistence. I'm glad to see. I think everybody is here. Nobody has dropped out, so that's it's kind of towards the end anyway. But you will be surprised that even my previous cohort, the most dropouts I see is project 1. People drop out. Project 2 also, people still kind of be. They are nice enough to be like, okay, I'm in a team. I'm going to commit to this, but after that, I'm not going to show up. Okay. So it seems like everybody is here. There are a couple of people who are running late, so we'll give them the benefit. But looks like everybody is here. Okay. Some of the things that I would like, some of the opportunities, like I like to call, the UI. I know we are not UX UI designers, but what common themes, most of the groups that I noticed, the color scheme, I mean, some of the things were kind of hard to read, right? You are sitting over there, and the font was small, the color schemes between the button and the text, I would highly recommend reading some articles on what color themes to use on your websites. Some of those things were kind of hard to read, to be honest. Okay, I wasn't sure. The background versus your button color, the login, the text. If you hover over it, the text kind of disappears. All right, I don't know if it's a login, if it's a sign out. I mean, you can guess, but still, the color scheming, the theming, basically. I would highly recommend. There's something called material design. If you haven't looked at it, for your next project, look at this. Is a design theme that Google has come up with, and they have done all kind of studies, UX studies, user studies, and they've compiled a really good color schemes and designs for your websites. All right. They have fonts, they have color scheme. If you're using this color, what should be the background? They have a ton of stuff over here. So I would highly recommend referring to material design for your next project or whatever you're doing. Okay. This is like kind of Bible for UX designers right now. People follow this. They're like, you cannot go wrong if you're following Google's material design, basically. Okay, they have taken into account accessibility issues. They have taken into account people with disabilities. If they come to your website, the color schemes and all that stuff. Okay, do look at it. The good thing is, if you're using React, somebody has created a React for material design. So it's a good opportunity to kind of look into it when you're using React and creating a project using React. Okay, so definitely look into material design. They even have like shadows or how your button should look like, what kind of a radius it should have, what kind of shadows it have. They have done like all kind of research and everything. It's an extensive study, but take a look at it and try to develop your website using material design. Okay, that's one thing. Authentication, right? From this class, I think almost every team had some kind of authentication, or they did not have authentication, which is perfectly fine. What I would say is do not have user authentication where you are saving the username and password on your database, just like strings. It's better to not have authentication than having this, right? It's just not bad practice. It is, you can actually get fined for it. If you don't know, read up on SOX. Does anybody know SOX? SOX compliance? It's a Sarbanes-Oxley law that has been passed, and it kind of deals with all this stuff. Okay, again, you need to have authentication, but it's better not to have this kind of authentication versus having some kind of authentication. And this is username, and I tap in my password. It directly just goes into your database, and I can actually see my password if I open up your table. Please don't do that. I know none of you guys did it in this case, but that's what it is. Okay. Again, it's a small project, but in practical terms, there are laws surrounding it. What kind of data you are storing, and companies get fined for it. Okay, and there are hefty fines for it. All right. So the best practice is please don't do these kind of silly things. All right, especially user data. And in today's world, you all read news. You know how much scrutiny is being done, what kind of data we are sharing, what kind of data is being stored. User ID and password is like the basic thing that should never exist, right? Today we are talking about first names, last name, addresses that people thought they were fine. So if those are being scrutinized, username, password is a really big deal. Okay. So again, if you want authentication, which you guys did, use password.js or whatever, but don't have like a authentication just for the sake of authentication, right? It's not even a requirement, to be honest, in your project. Okay, it's good practice to either have a good one or don't have. Okay, the next thing I saw was the feature delivery. By feature delivery, I mean the things that you are implementing in your website. Okay, to me, now what I think is it is better to just deliver 2 features which are complete and which are solid. Okay, that are not going to break. You have tested them out, and you are 100% sure that these 2 features are really good, versus delivering 5 and none of them actually work properly. Okay, again, there might be, you might have a different opinion, which is fine, but to me, I would say deliver 2 features or less features, but they are complete, versus trying to put in many features and all of them are like 80% or 60% complete, right? For example, if I have to spend 5 minutes on my presentation or my demo, right? If I'm only doing 2 features, I'm spending like 2.5 minutes on each feature, okay? Versus on 5 feature, I have to spend a minute on each feature. And then what happens is somebody says, hey, is this working? Oh, you know what? This is the feature, but from this doesn't work. This is the feature, but this doesn't work. This is the feature, but this doesn't work, this works. The last thing people remember is this is not working. That's human nature. That's all they will remember. Oh, now if I look back to some of the projects, what I remember is, oh, they said this is not working, right? But there were other things that were working. But this is human nature. I only remember the things that were not working. Versus you spend 2.5 minutes on each one, and you say, yes, this is also working, this is also working, my save is working, my delete is working, my cancel is working, for example. Okay, so I would highly recommend try to complete features completely versus trying to add like extra stuff on top of it. Okay, does that make sense? All right. For example, authentication, not required, but people did spend a lot of time. Again, it wasn't required, but good if you were able to complete. But if that feature kind of affected your main ones, that's kind of bad. Okay? All right. The next one is important, leadership. Now, I've given advice to in this groups over here, groups in other class also. The purpose of assigning a team lead is not that, okay, this person is responsible and that's it. Okay? Every person in the team is a team lead. All right, and this you will, when you go into your hiring process, you will see that people try to hire, with some leadership skills. You might not be expected that you're going to take on the whole project, but the expectation is if somebody is out or you have to fill in somebody's place, you should be able to take that up. Okay. Um, I don't know, some of the sports fans will hate me. Don't be like Dallas Cowboys of 2014 and 15, right? Tony Romo gets hurt, the whole season is over. That's it, done. I hate it. You have the same team, but the season is done as soon as he gets hurt, right? Be like Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, Matt Flynn comes in, he sets the franchise record, and still he's there doing great, right? That's what I'm saying. If somebody is not here, your team is affected, somebody has to step in. All right? Who has to step in? You have to step in. Please don't wait for somebody else. Again, from the skill set, we are full stack developers, right? If you are responsible from front end, doesn't mean you're not responsible from back end also. Well, I heard few things. Somebody, even after the class, were like, well, that was not my responsibility. Well, it kind of was. You studied Node.js in this class, right? They also studied, so it's not like you cannot step in and start writing backend code, right? That excuse is not there anymore. All right. You will hear today's world. You will see, if you haven't heard, a T-shaped team. Has anybody heard a T-shaped team? I don't know if I talked about it.
No.
So the hiring process is that they try to hire people with a T-shaped skill. This thing means that this is the breadth of knowledge. This is what you're expert in. Okay? And these are the skills that you're not expert in, but you kind of have an idea, right? And this is, for example, I'm a backend Java developer. So in my resource, when I'm being hired, this is my knowledge, and they know that this is okay. If there's a need for expert, they would give me stories or tasks associated with this, right? But if I have to step in, I can write Node.js code or some JavaScript, right? I have enough knowledge, I can do it, right? And this is what happens is when we are in a sprint, when we're working on a project, if this is required and these tasks are done, but there's a lack in that technology, expectation is that I can step in and help. They don't think I'm an expert, that's fine, but I can step in and help somebody else and look at the code and help them. Okay, and in this world, and that is why this full stack thing came up. Okay, this is the reason. What I told you guys in the beginning, that usually what used to happen is there will be front end engineers and back end engineers. There was this wall isolation. They blame these guys and these guys blame these guys, right? Well, I did my front end, everything works. These guys are the one that's the trouble, and back end people are saying, well, we did everything correct, and these people don't know how to parse my JSON. I don't know who hires these guys, right? So that's why we came up with this T-scale thing and the full stack thing, so that we can minimize this, this wall in between, right? Front end engineers, this is their skill, but when needed, they can step in and do the Node.js, and this is what this class is about. We do the team division. Again, some people are more expert in the front end, some people are more expert in Node.js, right? It's fine, right? But you need to have some level of competency. You can step in and do the back end, okay? The excuse or saying that, well, it's not my responsibility, or I don't know, I was responsible for back end, I was not responsible for front end, it's not going to fly anymore, right? It doesn't fly in workplace. You get hired because you have this T skill set. Okay? Everybody understands? Right? Again, I said as an engineer, for me also, I can read any code, and that's what I want you guys to be. Okay? It doesn't matter if it is Java code or JavaScript code, Node.js code. You guys need to know how to read code. That's all, right? I also don't know any languages, right? But I can look at it. I can get a vague idea what's going on. I can step in and do something, right? Or I can help somebody. That's what all the engineer, and that's what the hiring managers are looking for. They don't expect you to be expert in everything. They want you to be expert in one thing. Other things you can step in and kind of help, right? Okay, that's what the purpose of this skill set is. All right. Any questions? Everybody good? All right. Last thing. Oh, two more. Okay. Kanban board. Probably maybe like one or two teams just used it. Again, I would highly recommend give this a try. All the disorganization and everything. This is a tried and tested strategy. It's very popular. Kanban board and Agile. Again, for your project, I would highly recommend if you didn't use it, give it a try. At least spend a day, create those tasks. What happens is it also gives you a sense of accountability. When you see a board with a task under your name, somebody can say, hey, you spent a day already in this task. Do you need help? Is it going to be completed or not? Then it gives some visibility. And then somebody else can, with the T skill set, can step in and help you even if they're not responsible for it. Okay? So I will highly recommend. I know maybe like 2 teams use Kanban board. And there were some teams, I know Joffrey, you were asking, what was your agile? You were asking somebody on the team, right? I think it was Jay from the other team who did the business card thing. You heard him, right? It did work. It works, and I can assure you it will work. It's just you have to get on board with it and give it a try. Okay? For the next project, again, it's optional, but I would highly recommend give it a try and see. I can assure you it will keep your project more organized and it will have more accountability. And you can actually see what everybody's working on. Okay? All right, the last one. Oh, no, Kyle is not here. Hopefully it didn't drop out. This is another thing that came up. When I was helping people, I kind of got an idea. Okay, everything that you did in your project has been taught. I can assure you, activities, examples, everything is there. It's just that I feel like remember when we start a week, we start with small things. Towards the end of the week, it kind of bigger picture. Project is the same thing. It's an accumulation of all those weeks. You just need to learn how to connect the dots. You have studied. I can show you those exercises. We have done everything that you are trying to solve. Okay, and that's what I am. And whether it's trying to connect to your front end, doing some Node.js, writing APIs, everything is there. I can assure you. I can show you those activities. It is there. It's just that we still lack that connection. That we are not able to connect those dots. Right? It seems like it's new, but it's not new. It's been taught. It is there. Okay. So I this is the time. Go back, maybe do some revision, but try to see how those are connecting together. Right? And project is the best way to connect all those dots, all those activities, or everything that you have learned. It's there. Just need to see that this is what makes sense. Okay. So. Important part of this course, this project is that we need to learn how to connect the dots. All right? Okay? Again, the same thing. The whole week, we start from day 1. By the 3rd week, we need to learn how to connect those 3 days, those dots. Project is all those weeks that we have learned. Okay? Again, there's a lot of stuff. But again, as I said, it's nothing new. The problems that you guys have faced, it's nothing that I have not heard. Right? Everybody goes through the same thing. It's the architecture. People get confused. Remember on the first day of project, I said the biggest thing is people get confused, differentiating between the front end and the back end. And the reason is it's JavaScript both ways. Node.js, JavaScript. Right? Again, even though I mention it, I try to explain. Still, people face the issues, and that's okay. All right? And I'll keep saying it. But again, if you face some issue, please review, go back and see. It has been solved, and it's probably in one of the activities. Okay? All right. In addition to that, I know when we did a first project, people were like, well, if we just had learned Node.js is the solution for all my problems. I was like, okay. Now project 2, now when we learn Node.js, it has its own set of problems, right? Now what I hear is, if React was there, we'll see in project. React is good.
That was a tutor.
Huh?
It was a tutor that said that.
Oh, that was a tutor? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
It's always their response.
That was a huge react.
Why don't you just use React?
Again, say we'll have that opportunity in few weeks. We'll have the opportunity. React is good, but again, it comes with its own problems. Again, it's the understanding part. We need to know how to use these tools. If you become more better at it, these will solve all your problems. But again, this is the same thing, and I keep hearing, well, if React was there, that's it, I would have done better. Okay, all right. We'll see. Yeah. Again, React is good. It comes with its own problems. It's the same thing that you have dealt with, right? You will have the same issues. So we'll see. Again, it's not the tool, it's our understanding. We need to get better at it.
Same issues plus.
Same issues plus. Yeah, actually it piles up even more.
We settled all the previous issues and now
Yeah.
React's giving me problems.
Yep. All right, everybody good? All right, now coming to the scary part. Again, we're still not on the lecture. All right, so we have 7 weeks remaining. That's it. This is it. 7 weeks remaining. All right. Out of these 7 weeks, 2 weeks are your project 3. Okay. So now it's reduced to just 5. So you actually just have 5 weeks of lecture.
So like a month. It's sweets.
What is it?
He has like a month left.
Right. All right. Even with these 5 weeks, there's one for revision. So that's actually 4 weeks of lecture actually. We'll come to that.
1 week.
Or like kind of revision. Well, I'll go through each one of them right now. Okay. So let's see what are we going to learn. So week 18, which is today, is Mongo and Mongoose. All right, Mongo and Mongoose is same as MySQL and SQLize. Okay, so this would be MySQL and this would be the SQLize version of. So that's what it is. Okay. Now week 19, everybody's favorite. They can't wait to get to it. Is React. Okay, React. I try to divide. Let's say React Basic, which is not as basic, but I don't have a better. Yeah, React Basic. Week 20 is still React, but a little bit not basic. So advanced. Okay. So that's week 20. Okay. Week 21 is what I like to call, I said revision week. So this is a week that I give an opportunity where people can tell me if there's some topic they want to go back, revise, let me do some activities. If there is not, what I do is I talk about some React super advanced concept that you are never going to use in this class.
So basically come
I
up with
like that.
topics. Is what you're saying.
Yeah, either come up with topics.
Watch him pull a rabbit out of
What is it?
So where does Redux sit on that spectrum?
Right, Redux is over here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Redux. I put Redux over here because again, as I said, in this class, none of these topics will help you, but out in the industry, they're extremely useful and people use it. But the problem with this topic is, if you don't understand this and you don't understand this is, you won't understand. It doesn't even matter.
You're awesome.
Yeah. Again, so week 21 is either super advanced React or some revision. We can do some mock interviews. We'll talk about it when we get to this point. Okay. Last week is week 22. That is your algorithms and data structures. So this is basically if you take a computer science degree CS 101 course. We talk about your algorithms like sorting algorithms and binary trees and all that stuff. Those are good to understand and kind of come up with interviews also. You will see if you read up on it, not all companies, very technical, extremely like computer science dedicated companies, they kind of like to start with this kind of stuff. Okay. So we'll talk about some basic algorithms that are there. Okay. Again, this is similar to if you take a CS 101 class or a data structure class. That's what they talk about. Okay, so for 3 days, we'll cover like a 3 months or a 6 months course. Okay,
Beautiful.
no big deal.
I'm sorry.
Love
say
it.
Run that one by me again.
No, no time. That was last week.
The schools teach you a 3-year course that takes 6 months.
Huh? Yes.
In reality, it's flipped.
Right.
It's not a short one, it's them.
Yeah, it's a whole 1 semester course.
I'm ready.
But I'll try to make it as easy as possible. We'll get to that. Okay. So again, if you haven't started freaking out, then this is the time to freak out. You to be honest, if you see none of these are all bonuses. I've been saying this is the last phase of the program, and all of these topics are to me are bonuses. Okay. If you're sitting in an interview, and by the time after 45 minutes, if somebody starts you asking these questions, you probably have either done pretty well, they have already judged you that you're good, and these are all bonuses, and they're saying, okay, this person already sat through 45 minutes, have answered, and it's pretty good in other skills. Let me go and see if these are bonuses that the person knows. That's what it is. Okay? Again, to me, you guys are ready. From the syllabus perspective, yes, you know JavaScript, you know Node.js, and that's all the interview is going to be on. They're going to test your skills based on mainly those two things. There is, I'm telling you, none of these is going to help you a lot right now. If you want, you guys have the permission to go and start applying and start looking for jobs. Yes. Already started? Okay, one person already started. Again, and the reason I'm saying is you understand the foundation. The foundation is still JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and Node.js. That's it. Everything else, all of these things are built on top of those things. All right? React is going to help you, but only to a help. If you don't know JavaScript or Node.js, I don't know who's going to hire a React developer who doesn't even understand JavaScript. That's never going to happen. If and there are companies who kind of stress and they're like, oh my god, I just want, do you know React? That's it. If you get a job over there, it's fine. It's not a long term. I'm telling you, right? So more important is, and again, you will see some of the jobs where they have, you should know any programming language like C#, C++, Java, it doesn't matter. Those are the company. What they are saying is, you come in for the interview, pick any language that you are comfortable with and pass the interview. It doesn't matter what language it is. If you can pass an interview, you are capable enough to pick up any other language and start working on it. And that's the trend these days, right? It doesn't matter what programming language you're skilled in. They want to see if you're able to solve those questions, right? And all those questions are, they want to see you can write code, you can think, you can come up with an algorithm. That's what it is. Okay? So at this point, you already know one language, you know two languages, you know JavaScript, you know Node.js, right? That's your plan. You go in interview and they'll say, hey, what language you're comfortable in? Well, I can interview in Node.js. All right, we'll ask you a question, go ahead and write the code in Node.js. Nobody cares. All right, I can do JavaScript. All right, go ahead, pick JavaScript, write this code in JavaScript. Okay? Yes?
So during my interview, the person who interviewed me interviewed 8 weeks ago for an internship at USAA, and one thing they looked for the technical questions was basically the thinking process. So after my interview, I was actually friends with the interviewer. He told me the way I answered the question was perfectly. They want you to be thinking out loud. They want to know what's going on, even if you don't know what's going on. Just start spitballing. They want to know what type of processes. They don't expect you to nail it straight on the dot. They just want to know what's going on in your head and how you can think through a problem.
Yep.
It's more of like how you solve
Right.
problems.
And at this point, I mean, from the syllabus perspective, everything is covered. I mean, there's nothing. As I said, these are good to haves, but your foundation is already done. Okay. But again, I hear you guys. You're like, well, I'm not ready yet, right? What I like to say is the biggest lies are the ones that we tell ourselves. And I've heard this. People are like, well, once this program completes, I'm going to go back from day one. I'm going to start again. It's not going to happen. It never happens. I still try to keep in touch with people on Slack from my previous cohorts. I message them. Yeah, you know what? I'm still at the same place. Something came up 3 months later. I'm going to come back to it. It's not going to happen. If you don't do it right now, you're never going to go back to this course and kind of look up. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you. Right? Or maybe rarely one or two people would do it. Most of us will not go back and do it. So this is the time. If you think you're not ready, please start going back. Look into JavaScript. There was a 30-day challenge that I posted. That's a good one. That will improve your skill. Take that. Do whatever it takes to get to the position where you think you are comfortable in going and interviewing. Okay? And you only have like 7 weeks to do it. After 7 weeks, it's not going to happen. Okay? And again, if you apply for a job right now, it's going to take some time. You won't get an interview like next week or something. It'll probably take you some time to go through and everything. By the time you graduate from this course, if you are applying right now, you might start getting some interviews. Okay? Yes.
Okay, yeah, so like George was saying, like just thinking about different positions we can apply to, right? Like their internships.
I was going to come to
their,
that.
Like
Yeah.
junior developer,
Right.
but then just like doing the career services stuff, then those people keep talking about consulting firms where like Deloitte and stuff around here.
Okay.
Where they're like, we like boot camp people because they can just learn new things really fast and like are there any other positions like that you've
right.
heard about that we
Again, good question. And that was my next point. Now, people are like, well, I don't have experience. What do I apply for? 15 years ago, 13, when I was applying, I will tell you, I applied to positions where they said 1 to 3 years of experience. I'm not joking. You will never see a position which says 0 years of experience. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. People who get hired for these positions are people like me 15 years ago who are just graduating. The only positions for 0 years of experience are internships. That's all. I don't know what it is, but no company is willing to accept that they are going to hire people with no experience where they have posted a job for 1 to 3 years of experience. I'm not joking. This happens. So you guys should be applying for any position that says 1 to 3 years of experience. Please go ahead and apply. Yeah. Nobody is going to come and beat you up. How dare you apply to this position?
This chick was applying to software engineer jobs at GoDaddy and getting called back into interviews. Just apply.
Yeah. Again, I'm telling you, and here's what I did. Let me complete this thought. Here's what I used to do. I used to get up in the morning, and my goal was I'm going to apply to 10 companies. All right? Not like any. Now, my options were more open that I didn't care where I lived, which state I lived. I was willing to move out of state, so that was okay for me. So there were more opportunities. I said, okay, every morning I'm going to apply to 10 places. No matter it says 1 to 3 years of experience or 2 to 3 years of experience, it's fine. I'm not going to apply for a senior where it clearly says senior software engineer. Don't apply to that position. But any position that says software engineer, 1 to 3 years of experience, it's fine. You know what will happen? They will interview you, and within the company they have levels 1, 2, 3. All of these are called software engineering levels. They will probably put you in a 1 or a 2. That's okay, and that's what happens. But they will never give you the actual level in your description. They will still say 1 to 3 years of experience, but it depends. If you don't have experience, but you are still good, right? You pass the interview, they will not let you go. They will still hire you. They'll give you a junior position, but they will never let a person go who they think is good. I'm telling you, they will create that position for you. Yes?
Quick question. So for like the titles though, what type of titles should we be looking for? So IT?
Software engineer, that's just, I would just search software engineer, front-end engineer, full stack engineer, all those three. Keep a bookmark of all those three and just keep going and looking. Again, if you are looking, if you don't care where the place is, you have more options, right? Now, if you are like, well, I'm not going to move out of Phoenix or Arizona, it kind of reduces, but still there are jobs, right? That's why I said, make a schedule. Get up every morning, dedicate some time. I'm going to go through Indeed.com, Glassdoor, LinkedIn jobs, it doesn't matter, whatever websites are there. I'm going to go there, I'm going to apply to 10 or 15, pick a number. Every morning I'm going to apply to these number of places, and then that's it. That's my schedule. And then I'm going to go back to my day job, don't worry about it, and see. Okay? You guys have seen, if you haven't read about it, if you apply to these many places, then you have a chance you get callbacks from like 2 or 3 places. That it happens, right? So you have to keep applying. The second thing, again, as I said, 1 to 3 is experience, 2 to 3, please don't worry about this. Apply. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and apply. You will still get a call. You will see that they are willing to interview you. And if you are good, they will give you a position. Okay? Second thing that I've seen, LinkedIn. In this industry, LinkedIn is extremely important. I cannot tell you. There is no way you will get by without having a good LinkedIn profile, right? The only in my cohorts, people don't do it. If you want to see somebody's profile or somebody more active, check out Ali's profile. I have never seen a more student who is more active on LinkedIn coming from a boot camp. It's honest. Every morning I check LinkedIn and she has something going on over there. Yeah, and that's how you get visibility. The other thing is, the other thing that I've seen. I was talking to somebody in my previous cohort. Again, he was a great student, right? And he was in a service industry. So I was like, hey, what happened? Did you get a job? He said, oh, yeah. I got a job. It's in computer. He got a job at Intel, but it wasn't the position that he's looking for. But he somehow got in the industry, right? He's saying, oh, I got a job at Intel, but I'm still looking for a programming, like a better job, right? So I'm like, well, your LinkedIn still says you are a bartender at some place. He's like, oh yeah, I forgot to update it. Let me go and update it. It's not going to work, guys. Some recruiter is looking at your profile and they see a different. You won't even show up in the search. I'm telling you. All right. So you need to update your LinkedIn. Now the thing comes up is your experience. Well, I don't have experience. Your projects are your experience. Please game the system. They say experience. Update experience and write your projects over there and describe your projects. That's how it will come up and they'll be like, okay, you have done something. I know you don't have industry experience, that's okay, but you have the technical knowledge. How do you tell somebody that, dude, I do have the technical, I know what you're talking about, I totally fit this criteria, I can come in and program, right? LinkedIn is the only way. They check the LinkedIn profile and they see, oh, your experience is in your previous job, this. Oh no, I'm looking for a programmer, right? Ignore it, right? Take a look at LinkedIn and see how you, instead of this experience that you have, try to put in your projects over there. Somehow have a good description, technical skills, shamelessly put in Node.js, like keep mentioning, hey, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. Seriously, recruiters, I told you, they don't even know the difference between Java and JavaScript. I'm not even joking. They don't know the difference. They will just look up there, hey, how about doing this? All right? So your experiences are your projects, your homework assignment. Nobody's going to come and say, hey, was this your homework assignment or was this your project? Right? Make your homework assignment as a project. Doesn't matter. You are trying to show that these are the skills you actually know programming. That's what you're trying to show. Okay? So please work on your LinkedIn profile. Now your resumes. All right, let's suppose tomorrow I wake up and I have been enlightened, right? I have thought, I'm going to leave my ways. I'm going to start helping people. I'm going to become a nurse, right? I wake up and like, I have wasted my time. I'm going to quit my high-paying job, a job where I go eat free snacks the whole day, play ping pong, and then come home after like an hour or 2 hours of work. All right. So I said, I wake up. I'm like, you know what? I have wasted my life. I'm going to become. And my wife is a nurse. She worked like 13, 14 hours, and she used to come home and she used to ask my day. I would say, oh, I had a long day. She was really, yeah. Instead of 3 ping pong games, I played only 1 today. That's how busy I was. Right? So I mean, that's the truth. I asked, yeah. I've stopped saying. So I wake up and I'm like, okay, I go back to school. I get my nursing degree. All right, and then I start applying my jobs. Right now, what do? I have a 2-page resume. I have 15 years of experience as a software engineer. So my 2-page resume, 3/4 I have it mentioned that this is the job. I worked Walmart, USA, PepsiCo. I worked this. 1/4 I mentioned, oh, by the way, I did some nursing and I'm looking for a job in nursing. This is my degree. I went to my clinicals and whatever. Right? It's not going to work. Right? Nobody cares. My 15 years of experience is down the flush. Nobody cares if I was a good engineer or not. They are looking for nurses, right? They're not going to care about my experience. So what do I need to do? I need to, it hurts my ego, it doesn't matter. I have to reduce my resume to 1 page. I'm starting basically from square one, right? I have to bring my resume to 1 page, and then I have to, even with my 15 years of experience, I have to somehow bring up some stuff that kind of relates to nursing. Maybe I was forced to go and volunteer somewhere at my job, right? Just because they wanted tax credit or something, I don't know, right? I have to somehow make myself look good and be, hey, I did volunteer at this hospital. We went over there. I did this. I worked with patients over there. Somehow, I have to relate those experiences, right? Again, nobody is going to care if I was a good engineer or not. Is that true or not, right? Because they don't care. They are looking for nurses. They're looking for people who are good with people, who can take care of people, all right? Now flip it, you guys are in the same thing. You guys might be experienced in your industry, it's fine. But in this one, you still are junior programmers, or that's the expectation, right? So you need to go back, think, and try to create your resume, again, 1 page, and then try to relate all your experience to see how you can kind of, make yourself look good. Okay, 1 page. If you don't have that any relation, then please make your projects as your experience. Try to give your don't like completely take your experience out. Mention that, okay, this is what you used to work in, but hey, here are my projects. If you don't have any experience that you can relate, these are my projects. I did this, I did this, I did this, and this is what I did. I was a team lead. Nobody's going to come back over here and ask me, was Blair a team lead or not? It's fine. Even if somebody, I'm like, yeah, he's good, right? Were you a team lead or not? In your, no?
Oh.
Yeah, see?
In my heart, he
I
was.
fooled you.
Right? See?
He was
So
in
again,
my heart.
Leaders, you can say, hey, I did this project and I had team members and we had this issue. Well, they will ask you in your interviews. You can come up with those, but in your resume, you can say, oh, this is what I work in. Please make sure that everything that you put in your resume is fair game. If you put in C++, I will ask you a question about C++, right? If you don't know C++, you just heard somewhere, please don't put that in your resume. Okay? I've had people, and I know, people put everything that they have heard about, and talking to them, I kind of know that, they have no idea, right? But I ask a basic C++ question, oh, yeah, I don't know. Well, please don't put that on your resume. Okay? So everything that you have put on your resume, please have a solid backing. Any projects you put, go back, look at your GitHub. Somebody else wrote the code, it's fine. Go back to them, understand them. Hey, what did you do over here? Your project team member did it. Make sure you clearly understand. If you put that project, you will be asked about that project, and they will ask you, hey, how did you solve this problem? Okay? So those are the two things. All right, LinkedIn, resume, start working on it if you haven't already. All right? From my perspective, you guys are ready. From the syllabus, course, everything, you are good to go. You are good to start applying in for jobs. Okay? Everybody freaked out yet?
Yeah. Allie's not. Allie's like, this was like 2 months ago stuff.
Well, you've been trying to scare us so much, and I'm like, over it.
That's good.
Allie's
Well,
like, whatever.
That's good. I mean, we need to see why we came over here, right? We spent so much money, you guys. We spent so much time over here. There's a reason, right? I mean, there are people who come over here from companies. That's okay, and maybe it's a promotion or they're fine with it. That's okay. But most of the people are not here for that reason. They are here because they want to change it, right? You want to get into that industry. You want to get that job, right? Again, I don't even have to say all this stuff, but I genuinely do care, right? I mean, I personally might not have gone through it, but I know the struggle. I have seen people, if somebody is willing to come into this industry, willing to put the time, you will come across different people. They'll be like, well, what about people who are going to school for 4 years, getting a computer science degree, boot camp cannot. it's all BS to me, right? I'm telling you, you heard Tim Apple,
Tim Apple.
Tim Apple.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right?
That's his name now.
That's his name now.
Donald Trump called me Tim Apple.
Yeah.
Because his card sits in that.
Right. What did he say? That like his employees, the people working over there, a lot of people don't even have a 4-year degree college, right? And Apple's interview process, it's like up there with Facebook and Google, right? Again, they're looking for your analytical skills. They're looking if you can do a whiteboard good, you can think, you can come to a solution. How do you solve the problem? That's what is required. And if you guys are willing to put in that time, that's good. That's good enough for me. Okay. Again, it's a very competitive, and yeah, there are a lot of jobs open. There's a lot of money, but sit through some of the interview processes. It's not like they will present in your plate. Hey, no matter how badly they require, you still have to go to the process. You know, managers are really, really skeptical in hiring person. So here's what happens: they want to hire good engineers because they are willing to spend that much money. Again, I told you, right? Out of even 8 hours, right? Let's say officially there's an 8-hour day. When we do our task, our sprints, officially they say, okay, 6 hours. It's already reduced to 2 hours. They're like, well, we have seen that people only work for 6 hours. Even after those 6 hours, I probably work like 2 hours or 3 hours, right? There's breaks, ping pong. They have. They have foosball. I'm not even joking. Visit any office. Why do they have this stuff over there? It's there, right? People are using it. But the productivity in those 2 hours that you solve that issue for that company, that's what makes the money, right? I mean, that's what you're getting paid for, to be honest, right? And they know when they need you, you will be there. There's a production issue, right? 6 months, one time it will come. You will be there. You will be spending the night. You will be sacrificing that time. It happens, and that's why you get paid and you get taken care of and all that stuff, because that will happen. And that's the one that makes the money and that saves the money for the company, right? They will pay you that money, but eventually, you know, it's a business. You will see that they will make 10 times more that money, and that's why it's okay, right? That's fine by me, right? So that's what it is. Again, I think the last slide over here. Let me go back. This thing, I told you guys, this is the biggest lie that we will tell ourselves, that I'm going to go back after this course and, you know, redo the whole thing, and suddenly it's not going to happen. You have 7 weeks. I would say start applying to jobs. If you are not ready, please go back, start reviewing the. I'm here, TAs are here. Start doing it. Okay? Let's see. All right. Any questions? Life lessons?
I do have a
Yes.
question. What about, like, you know, just say you're working on your own project, right? Project design, like project management, things like that. Like we haven't touched a whole lot on that.
Yes. And we won't touch. I'll tell you what happens. Don't focus on project management, right? I will tell you, we at USA, they hired bootcamp students, right? But they interviewed and they hired software engineers. Once you get into the company, you have a lot of options over there. I have known a couple of people, they got hired as software engineers. 6 months in, when they developed that relationship, they started talking to the manager, hey, I'm more interested in project management. Today they are project managers, right? This is to just get into that company. Later on, they have opportunities. You don't want to do programming for your life, that's okay. Once you get in, you can get training. They'll pay for your training. You can talk to your manager. Once you develop that relationship, you can talk to them and they will put you in project management, right? But for now, I would still say apply and focus on software engineering. Once you get in, yes, then you have the opportunity. First, you need to get into that door, right? And the only way to get into it is because we have done this course. This is your skill set, right? You cannot put it on your resume and go for a project management interview. They're like, well, I mean, you don't even have project management. If you go for a project management interview, then they'll ask you, well, do you have certification? Do you have this? Have you done this? No. But once you get into the company and then you talk to your manager, once you have that relationship, you will see they're more than willing. They'll be, oh yeah, we do need a scrum master. We do need a project manager. If that's your career goals, yeah, please go ahead and start doing it. So I would say once you get in, yes, that's your area. I mean, PMP courses and all that stuff, why would you pay? The company, there are other companies who are willing to pay and get you into that career. Good question. Anything else? Those are expensive. Those are very expensive. Yeah. What else? Yes.
So, I don't know if I can provide, well, are there any companies better than the others, or what to look for? Let's say I would prefer to get hired, and probably it's not a good question on the interview, with that training or mentorship. Is there any, how do you
Do I give an honest answer?
Yes.
All right.
Please.
We at this position we are not really choosers right now, right? We are trying to get into the industry, right? It's always going to be difficult. Your first job is the hardest job you will get. I would say if that's your goal, you want to get hired, you want to get into this industry, please don't focus on, oh, is this company good, or do you have
no,
those?
but whether there will kind of, if there is, so if there's anything to look, or say it at least at the interview, that you're kind of looking for, growing and learning more on the job. Is there any way when you do an interview?
Yeah, no, that is the expectation, and that's a good thing. You would say, I'm a good learner, I'm a fast learner, right? If there's any, if this is my primary skill, but if there's anything else, yeah, I can do it.
So, okay, so you
Right.
can actually at the interview kind of.
You can say that, but I will tell you that's the expectation anyway. The
say
person who
it.
is interviewing, not even to say, the expectation is if they hire you as a Node.js or a backend, you would be able to do Java at some point, or you will be able to pick up that language. And how they will know, if you're able to solve the problem that they're telling you, you are fine. You will be, if you can put in effort and learn and go through the interview process, you have the capability that you can learn something else. Yeah. All right. Yes.
Well, I know one thing that I had saw where I guess it kind of goes to that you can ask kind of like what's the testing process when they're rolling out new code. Because I know, or some things I've seen where basically they're having you write code and deploy it without really even testing it, and it frustrates the developer because they just keep asking you to do stuff and things are breaking and they're not really. And I know that was one thing that seemed like it makes sense because even though I don't know everything, I think I always want to ask some kind of question to kind of get the feel from the company.
No, that's a good question. It's called like test-driven development. You can ask some of the processes, but my point is, please don't be picky for now. At least get that programming job, spend a year, and then once you get that company or anything in your resume, that's it. You are in. Now you're in the industry. You can pick and choose wherever you want to go. The first one is always going to be difficult because, again, as I said, the competition is great. We are competing with people from ASU. People coming, new graduates who are interning everywhere. You know how they take care of interns these days. I mean, they are. No, seriously, in computer science, they are pampered.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Oh, you should see some of the. Half the time they're having activities and I have to go there. I have a baseball game, softball. I'm like, okay, right? Again, so at this point, if you are a new person trying to get into industry, it's the same as any industry, right? Don't be too picky. At least get that job. At least start programming. You will see how the professionals, how the industry works. You will hear some tools. You will get some trainings. Once you are in, spend a year. If you don't like it, at least spend a year, and then start applying. You will get a job.
Well,
right?
What for like pay levels? Because I mean, I know I got into this because it's more just challenging and more fun, But like, I don't want to like go back and pay. Should you just make sure you either get paid what you're getting now or more? Because I know you can get junior development jobs making way more than what I make now.
But what is way more? It depends on the area.
I mean,
it depends on what state you're in too.
Yeah, it depends on what state. So this is consider like a low cost state anyway. But still, what do you have in mind?
I mean, at least like 75. 80.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Starting?
Yeah.
That's what I mean, because in the next, you're shooting for like 100. Because then I think, for having basic knowledge of understanding concepts, that's not like a crazy thing. 75 is not like wild.
I've seen a lot higher.
Yeah, that's I agree with. But if that's the expectation, you're fine.
Yeah. Because that's what I'm trying to go is
depends.
75, 80, and learn, like you said, for a year or longer. And then, the next job, you have a wide open opportunity because you can pick and choose.
Right.
So like once I do this, I can do.
What was it?
Oh, I was just saying, I was seeing like literally 40 to 60.
No, 40?
That's
You're big rounds.
Yeah, they're trying to screw you.
Okay, I somehow, again, concentrate on the interview. If you pass the interview, I'm telling you, I mean, they won't let you go for like 5.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
$10,000.
they have,
It's a little bit of money.
they have some gap, yeah.
They want you. They will find money.
Yes.
Oh yeah, here's another 50,000.
Yes, sir.
Just an anecdote. I work for GoDaddy. GoDaddy has a lot of development positions as well. Just the division that I'm in, about a month and a half ago, they got requisitioned $1 million from them.
Yeah.
Put that in perspective. Man.
For 90.
Everyone started doing
Nine.
Yeah, I know. Let's
For
do
nine.
that for 9.
That's fine.
Yeah, and that was
Last
where
week, last week.
like GoDaddy wants they want people on that group. Okay.
Go to GoDaddy.
From here, from his friends.
Okay.
SW in Arizona, junior developer, yeah. So it's like, okay. So I mean,
Okay.
do you have any other?
No, that's here's the best way to do it. You're all are on LinkedIn. Try to find somebody. There's a TA from the other class, Steve. I think he's working. Talk to him. He's a graduate from this. Nick is a graduate, but he already has some experience. So I'm not sure if that's the same way. Look up on LinkedIn. There are people who are working at American Express. There's a company called Kubra, Kubra. I've seen some of the graduates from here. Talk to them. They are junior developers and see what are the pay. Yeah, that's the best way. I mean, a Glassdoor. Those are estimates, but talk to real people who graduated from there and got a job and see. I know American Express hired a lot of people from boot camps. They fire also, but they hire also a lot of people. Yeah. Every 2 years they kind of clean the house. Suddenly they hire all these people.
Yeah, American
I
Express.
don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a banking. I don't know what it is. But anyway, talk to there are people from the boot camp and talk to them and say, hey, what are you? Give me an estimate. Don't give me an exact. Give me like a range. That's the best way to get and then share it over here. Tell maybe we are outdated. I don't know what's going on as a junior developer, but that's the best way. Talk to somebody who's actually working.
Never be afraid to ask for what you think you're worth.
Yeah. Always negotiate.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Again, don't go to estimates. Best way is talk to somebody who's already working there.
No.
All right. Anything else? Anybody has another insight? Anything else? Nick, do you have something to add? Freak them more out.
In terms of like applying for jobs.
Yeah. Or junior developer pay scale or something.
Well, I would say that Daniel mentioned something that was really important. Right now, take what you can get. Mainly because nobody ever gets their dream job out of school, regardless if you're coming out of a boot camp or the university or whatever. You're not going to get your dream job right away, but like I said, I would look for any place that's hiring junior devs. American Express is a big one, and they do actually hire. They've actually hired quite a few boot camp grads as well, and like the way they work, at least from what I heard, is they essentially hire you on as a contractor. So they're either like on probation, for 6 months, depending on how well you do. They'll either keep you and offer you a full time, or they'll say, hey, thanks, but peace out. So, again, right after you guys finish, it's you're not going to get a job in a week. You're not going to get a job in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you how many places I applied in the last year, like countless places. You have to keep applying, see what's out there. Just put in as many applications as you can get. One reason is to get you guys familiar with the whole interview process, because interviewing for a development job is going to be a totally different experience compared to what you guys have done so far. And it'll get you some experience, and it'll get you, kind of in a spot where, let's say if you bomb the first interview, now you know what not to do in an interview, So you carry that experience over to the next one, you know, to the next one, and so
Yep.
forth until you get a job. So, you know, again, keep putting them out there, keep trying. LinkedIn is absolutely huge. Yeah, I mean, just be persistent, you know, that's all I can really say. So, Phoenix has a lot of companies out here.
Yeah.
So, you know, the more you apply, the more you get your name out there. You know, don't be afraid to, you know, start networking with, you know, people on LinkedIn. You know, once you fill out, you know, one more items in LinkedIn, you'll start getting, you know, hit up by recruiters, and they'll start, you know, feeding you opportunities and stuff like that. Yeah, start networking. You know, a good starting point is the instructional staff on LinkedIn. You know, we obviously know a bunch of other people too. So yeah, just be persistent, especially at the end of the weekend. So, you know, with the Project 3, demo day is going to be crucial because, you know, we actually have developers from other companies come out and check out what you guys have to offer. And there's been a couple of grads who have gotten a job offer, you know, from demo day. So, you know, just bring what you got and, you know, go from there.
So start applying today.
Let's learn more.
All right, any other questions? Good. Back to our scheduled lesson. So we'll take a 15-minute break. We'll start Mongo after that. Yes. Yes. Again, resumes, you want to do a mock interview, I can do a mock interview, whatever you guys want.
I was just talking to my.
Right now.
Well, schedule a time, maybe next time before or after, but we can do it.
No, because what I'm doing is where I was sort of most in the past, I'm like, I just like went.
So basically what you were saying, as far as a generalization, I had my work experience on there, and then I had some of my project stuff.
Yeah.
But as far as like going into specifics about my projects, I did not. So basically I'll show you like the two. So this is kind of like my initial one that was highlighting my projects and highlighting the languages. And then right here I had my actual work experience. So this I'm changing right now.
Yes.
So my old roommate who works for Carvana said this is probably a better way to go.
Yep.
Do like the resume objective, do the skills, and then do the related experience first.
Excellent.
Versus like per app, and then have like each image and kind of talk about each one. And then do some education here, and then below that put my work experience here, and then put like maybe some what's it called? Some references.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That's the. I mean,
So is
again,
it okay
I would,
with 2 pages though?
I would
Like
still
you were
say one.
saying
I mean,
one.
what I've read from the recruiters and everything else, they're saying, well, between 1 and 8 years, 1 page, 10 plus years, okay, then you are good with 2 pages. I would highly still recommend doing.
So then should I try like, I guess, what would you recommend? Should I get rid of one of these and just use 2 of them?
No, use the projects.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe reduce the spacing or something, try to make space
Okay,
somewhere.
yeah, I
Try
can
to see if you can.
I can definitely do that. And then, but then also put my related experience and maybe put that here, all 3 of them, and then put my
Put your
experience
work
right there.
experience. Yeah.
So
What's
like,
your work experience?
so work experience is, I mean, it really has nothing to do with
Okay, so
with these. That's why I didn't really like. This is an enterprise operations manager, so I was working with the sales team. I was kind of in between the sales team and the operations team.
Okay.
So that
Same
has
thing.
nothing to do with it.
My
And then
example,
like
nursing,
teaching,
yeah.
and then teaching.
I
the other
would
side.
make them really small just to show that you are working somewhere. But these are more important, yes.
Okay.
What you have done, your skill set.
So those aren't even updated yet. I haven't updated those. So I was just taking it from the old one, and just the only thing that's updated is like the images here, and then like the languages used,
Right.
and then each app basically listing it. And then tomorrow morning I was gonna do exactly what you said and wake up and
that's it.
just start like putting basically what I did in those apps and how they're supposed to function, and then start sending it out. Okay.
Perfect.
Like as far as LinkedIn,
That's when they're like, don't make it thinking, I'm like,
how similar to your resume can it be? Like, can I take my objective and basically put that same stuff in there? And then,
That's what I do.
as far as my projects, do exactly the same.
Yeah.
Kind of like write out.
And
that
in the
post.
description, you have a lot more space in LinkedIn.
Right.
So you can add a lot more stuff over there, more description, exactly what you did, and all that stuff.
Okay.
As long as you
Ali, did you get any interview?
I haven't gotten any. Well, it was like I went to an event for startup grind in Phoenix, and then so someone kind of like started interviewing me on the spot, but it was like clear that I would like he was saying, do you know about React and Ruby on Rails? And I was like, React, like is that like free code camp exercises for React? So I haven't built anything yet. But then he was asking me like if I know about like search engine because he had a startup.
Oh, okay.
That's what I want, because those guys will pay you a lot if you do SEO and JavaScript. It's 150, and then that's the top.
He's like, what do you know about search engine optimization,
Oh, okay.
social media, and all that?
Right.
And if it doesn't work out, move on. Don't get discouraged. I got discouraged and stuff. Well, no, I would say that even
most of it. But
you're still
as part of that, I have to stay oral sector.
if you get a job more than
Yeah.
if you don't, and you still have 7 years, you still have Mongo and Angular and React. So when we put React to around 30%, you will start getting
So doesn't this mean it's working?
like everybody is I know there's
Okay. Just wanted to make sure this wasn't lying to me.
No. Did you do MongoDB in a separate terminal and all that stuff? Yeah. Do a type in DB. Just type in DB. Yeah, that's fine. It's working.
What is the robo?
So MongoDB, you realize there's no screen. It's all terminal. RoboDB is somebody developed a UI for that. It's like the MySQL workbench.
Okay, so we actually see something. Okay.
How is that?
Now it's they basically rewrote the code. So anybody who uses anybody who uses old school new
A lot of places,
I'm doing okay based on how it works.
So if you're working with some company that never changed, you have just these.
Well, you're screwed. Well, you're screwed
Yeah.
unless you want to spend.
I'm going to reach out. I've been talking to some of the developers. I've been speaking a lot with the guy who's in charge of the React Phoenix React.js meetups.
Yeah, I have to put my LinkedIn updated.
Just it might be a good point of contact. And I've been asking about like shadowing opportunities going over. Because my work date ends at 2, so I have plenty of time to go over and just like shadow somebody after my normal work day.
Is that guy, he works at Carvana? Oh,
Zach.
yeah.
Zachary? Yeah.
Oh, you were, because I remember the one time you said the meetup was at Carvana, and then it was at PetSmart. I gotta go one of those. The community is all about, you know, it's, you're gonna see people who you might interview.
And they know it.
We're good. Either was cool with having been able to. And we're like, don't you want to apply for another?
Good, good.
Okay, you know, saying the phone and
He was straight.
sales.
It's not like he was on.
And then you're dropped out. Right there.
No way.
Yeah, I think there's such a backlash in how terrible it is.
Oh, wow. That's the MO.
What's that?
Nothing big.
So you did what I did.
I survived.
Right.
Hey, Daniel.
Yes, made it.
I didn't think I was gonna make it.
You didn't miss anything.
We were in crisis mode. I was on phone calls with all kinds of
Oh yeah.
trying to fix something. I had no idea what they were doing.
Well, the good part is we haven't started on the I was talking about. The bad part is you kind of material process, but you can go back.
What is it?
Yeah.
I'll look up the video.
There was a second part that you said to download later on.
Yeah, Robo 3D.
There was two options on the page.
Yeah, not the studio, the other one. If you haven't, you will go to.
I'm looking at a full
That's
stack
like
development.
general expression.
You guys are always hiring. I see, like,
Yeah, they're
it's
hiring.
like Java.
Their goal. They have a goal like hiring 2,000 people by 2020 or
For
something.
a software developer, his first requirement is able to
But I mean,
push
when I look at
and or move.
developer job, you know, good one.
That's one and a half
USAA is
hours.
always at the top of.
Yeah, because they opened a new campus. That's what I was saying. They have like a gym and all
Oh,
that.
so that's over there.
Oh yeah, North.
Oh, so because that's the idea. You keep people happy. And
Oh yeah. That's right. They have ping pong tables, a football, gym. That's what I go lunchtime, have lunch, go to the gym, come back, play ping pong, talk
But
to
that's what's good though, because it doesn't matter like sitting to a rigid structure in terms of productivity.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. You can do a lot more if you're happy. Versus if they're just
Yeah.
like,
We're all aspiring.
Look at the Googles and Facebook, right? I mean, they want people to be there like 24 hours. They have free lunch
We got cafes for
for free. Yeah.
You never have to pay for anything. Just stay here and work.
And look at the money they are making. Just because they're paying 150, but they're getting that money back like 10 times.
You gotta give like a false first start.
how is Java different?
How's the what?
Like Java versus Java.
There's no relationship other than the name.
Like that one, I mean, it's like they want you to just know like a little bit about they're like 1 year of script.
Yeah, but they are going to interview in Java.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I wouldn't apply for that. I'm just
Yeah, it's a little bit higher.
It's just, yeah, I mean, knowing the basics, and like you said, if you can talk out how you're thinking to explain how you got there, I mean, that's half the battle.
Even if you want, go ahead and apply. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? They won't call you back, or they will call you and they will talk to you. They'll be like, oh yeah, you're not a good fit. That's okay. What happened? I mean, it's okay. Move on. The good thing is maybe you'll get a chance. They'll be like, you know what? We have a junior position. Why don't you come in and see if that works out?
You never know unless you apply.
Right. All right. Let's go ahead and get started now. We'll start with MongoDB. Everybody excited about MongoDB?
I am actually very excited.
Yeah, it's internal.
My computer does not like MongoDB.
What'd you say?
Huh?
My computer does not like it.
Wasn't that what you said?
It's installed but not installed.
We'll have a few minutes and we'll see what.
Like, I don't know what's going on.
All right. A lot of people said they're excited about MongoDB. MongoDB is one of the, I've seen that they ask about MongoDB a lot. but unfortunately, the people who are asking never use MongoDB. Also, I mean, I've been to companies. Do you actually use MongoDB now? We are still on SQL. Then why are you asking? But it's the new cool thing like Node.js or React, and everybody kind of likes to ask if you know this.
You just have a hamster organizing everything. It's really adorable if
Yeah.
you watch it.
Right. So okay, MongoDB. So we did Firebase, we did MySQL. Now we are going to do MongoDB. So first of all, the terms. MongoDB, and then Mongoose, and then Robo 3T. This is same relationship between this is same as MySQL, SQLize, and then MySQL Workbench. Okay? Everybody understand, or do I need to go through? The relationship between MySQL, SQLize, and MySQL Workbench is the same between MongoDB, Mongoose, and Robo3D. Yes?
Where's the Compass thing?
From what I read, it said do not install Compass. I don't know what Compass is.
Not install.
Compass is Mongo.
Ignore the
It's
compass,
Mongoose?
you'll get you lost. Broken.
All right.
Compass is
Any other question other than Compass? I'll have to. But I saw the instructions somewhere. I read they said do not install Compass. So.
I think Compass is the workbench part.
It's a workbench part, yeah. So Robo3D kind of takes care of that. All right. All right. So what is MongoDB? MongoDB is one of the popular NoSQL databases. We looked at Firebase. Firebase is a NoSQL database. What it means? It might be better now. We understand. We have seen MySQL. We have seen Firebase. MySQL has tables, rows, columns, and all the relationship between two tables, right? Firebase, it's all JSON data, right? There's no relationship between, there are no tables, it's all collections. Exact same thing as MongoDB, right? It does not use SQL, it does not have tables, it does not have rows, it does not have columns. We refer to my different name. Everything is JSON data. If you look at the collection, if you look at the data that is stored in MongoDB, to you it will look like JSON. Okay? When we talk about MongoDB, that data is called BSON or BSON, I don't know how to say it, but it's binary JSON basically. That's what it means. Binary JSON, it's because it's stored as a compact and all that stuff that's more technical, but basically when you look at it, it's still simple JSON data. All the JSON rules, retrieving, properties, attributes, everything apply. Same thing. There's nothing new when we talk about JSON in MongoDB. Okay? Same thing you will see in Firebase. Firebase was kind of similar thing. Okay? Oh, there it says. Binary JSON, which is just a compressed JSON format. And MongoDB takes care of it. For you, when you're looking at it, you still see JSON. All right? But if somebody asks you what kind of like how they store the data, you can say BSON or BSON, binary JSON. I would say binary JSON. I don't know how to say BSON or BSON.
It's Basin.
It's BSON?
Like Jason, but Basin.
Really?
No, I don't know.
It is. All right. All right. The last point over here.
Basin.
Same thing. We saw MySQL. MySQL has drivers, SQLize. They can connect to your Node.js code. They can connect to your Java code, C++. Same thing over here. MongoDB has different drivers, different packages. Of course, we are going to look at C++. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to look at Node.js part of connecting MongoDB. So that's what's more important. Okay? C++. Yeah, please don't go ahead and put C++ because there was a PowerPoint presentation and it's a C++. All right, this is a revision. Remember from your SQL, we have multiple tables. Tables have columns and rows. All right, kind of seem familiar? And if you want to combine those two tables, we join them, right? And what do we join them on? Some common property, some common column. Over here, the common column is author, right? If I want to join, if I want to get this row, I'm going to join, and then I'm going to join on author, right? That's how SQL works. Relationships, columns, tables, rows. NoSQL. This is not necessarily MongoDB. Any NoSQL database. Firebase is also NoSQL. MongoDB. You'll hear another called CouchDB. All of these are NoSQL databases. When we talk about NoSQL, we are talking about JSON. That's how the data is stored. It is stored as JSON. Simply, bottom line is, if it's a NoSQL database, it is stored as a JSON. That's all it is. Huh?
So the Chronicles of Glaria.
Yeah. People make a big deal and they say, oh, MongoDB. But basically, it is, from technical point of view, this is the easiest part. It is all stored as JSON. When you retrieve something, you're going to get a JSON back. When you try to insert something, it's going to be stored as JSON. You have to send it in a JSON format. Okay? That's the bottom line for any NoSQL databases. All right? Let's see. Should I go through this or we should? All right, we'll come to this one. All right. Now, when we talk about SQL, right? We talk about database. We talk about table, columns, and rows. Okay. When we come to a NoSQL database, these terms are kind of different. I will show what they kind of mean when we talk about SQL, just for today. But after this, we are going to use the correct terms for MongoDB or any NoSQL databases. Okay. All right. In a NoSQL database is still called database. All right. Table. There is no table. It's called collection. Okay. The table, instead of a table in a NoSQL, is called a collection. All right. A database can have multiple collections. That's what you see over here. Okay. Over here on the screen, we have two different collections. Okay. Rows or records. These are called documents. All right. What is a row in MySQL? It's a record, right? Basically, username, user information, something. It's a record. You can see what it is. In this case, NoSQL database or MongoDB, these rows are called documents, right? And what is a document? It's a JSON, basically a JSON, the data that you're storing. That's what the document is. Okay? Columns are called fields, but I'll go into the next slide. Oops, mistake. Okay, same thing. Database is still database. Table means collection. Row is document, and column is field. Let's go back and see. What is a field over here? Give me one field. What is it? No, give me what's the field? Age.
I said patient name.
All right. Patient name is also a field. Patient ID is a field. All of these are field. When we talk about MySQL or SQL databases, these are called columns, right? Everybody understand we have a general name, like patient ID would be a column in my database. Patient name would be a column. Age would be a column. These are called fields in MongoDB or NoSQL database. Okay. Let's go to the next slide and make sure we understand. All right. Again, table is a collection, row is a document, column is a field. Now, when we talk about MongoDB, I want to retrieve a document. This means I'm getting my data set, right? I'm going to add a new field. Means I'm adding a column, like a property, right? JSON has a property and a value, so I'm basically adding a property in my JSON, right? I'm creating a new collection. Means I'm creating a new table in my MongoDB. All right. Questions? Everybody clear on the terms? Yes, ma'am.
So in SQL, your tables are defined so every row is going to have the same column.
Yes.
Is there something like that here, or is it just the Wild West?
It's Wild West. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. And that's kind of the downside and the good. That's the beauty of MongoDB. When we talk about NoSQL, we are kind of taking the relationship out of it. We are not being like very static that this is my column, it has to be like this, right? This is why these became more popular, that people are looking for something that's not as rigid as SQL, that this is my column, it's mandatory, I have to do it, otherwise it's going to throw an error. MySQL, MongoDB kind of comes with this concept that, you know, a little bit Wild West kind of deal that, okay, you know what you're doing.
So now your code is more responsible for having the data.
Yes. Oh, yeah, yeah. If you make a mistake and there's a typo, you will see there's a typo. It will create a new collection for you. Like, hey, there you go. You will see. We'll see. But that's what happens. Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about it. That if I do a typo, well, kind of Mongoose, the SQLized part that kind of solved that issues because you are now typing exactly what you want. There's a less chance of typos. But if you're doing it in terminal, yeah, if you make a mistake, it will create a whole new collection suddenly, or whole new field over there. If I have a field and I make a mistake, you have a new field. We'll take a look at it, but yes.
So NoSQL is MongoDB?
Yes. NoSQL is like a generic name. Under that, we have MongoDB, Couch Database, Firebase is also NoSQL database. But the one that we are studying is MongoDB, and it is called a NoSQL database.
You said,
What is it?
you said that already, huh?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. You good? Any other questions? Again, more important, concept. We'll come to the technical part. You guys will work on it. That's okay. But concept-wise, I want everybody to be clear. Yes.
Is there like a limitation on the size of the database or anything along those lines? Or is there like more reason to go? I feel like last time we kind of brought up the difference in databases. I asked some similar questions, but just kind of revisiting that to refresher. Is there a reason why you would want to go to SQL instead of SQL? Since we're a large enterprise
Good question.
level,
Isn't
Big one
it
over
that
there.
at a large scale, the
Yeah.
NoSQL databases have a drastic decrease in performance?
is that it?
That's it. I mean, that's one of the things. So again, well, actually, there was an exercise, and you guys were supposed to find what are the drawbacks and what are the advantages of MongoDB. Well, we can Google and see, but you will see what I have noticed out there in the industry that bigger corporations, like a more established ones, they're still hesitant on using a NoSQL database or like a MongoDB database. You will still see them using SQL and all that stuff. Startups use this. The reason is the data size. Now, Walmart has tons of data, right? And as Michael was saying, there have been some cases where if you're using MongoDB, you have tons of data, it kind of degrades, kind of doesn't give you the same value. Startups, smaller companies, they don't have as much data. Again, small data, I'm talking like millions and millions of rows. That's considered small for MongoDB. And it works really good for that. Big set of data, I'm talking like 10, 15 billions. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about. At that point, though it's not very efficient, that's what, again, there are cases they have been improving, it might get there. It's same as Node.js, right? Node.js versus Java, right? Java has 20 years of experience backing unit tests, they have been testing, they keep bringing out the new version. Node.js is still about 10 years old or maybe less than 10. It's still new, so that's why companies are related. But small companies is open source. MongoDB, open source. Anybody can download, you can start using it. The limitation on space is depending where you're hosting. Same thing, right? You're using Heroku to host your database, which is SQL, the JAWSDB. What's the size that they give you? I don't know, 1 GB or something? That's the limitation on your hosting side. Same thing over here.
What if you were engineering something to be like software as a service? Does it still matter like size-wise what the service would provide, or would it be easier to engineer something that was all SQL'd out, or would it matter in that sense or not?
Again, size is dependent on what hosting service you're using, right? Somebody gives you 10 GB, that's your size. It's not the size of this thing. This is the software, and this is dependent on whoever gives you the size. So let's take the size part out. The thing is, if your data set is super complex, that you have like 10 tables and then you have like too many joins, it might be better to look into MongoDB. You see, it's all as a JSON, right? Those 10 things are now like a property or an object as an array of objects. We have parse JSON, it's much easier. You can pull that data, you can see it. That's one of the advantages. If you have like super complex. Now, if you have On the other side, if your data set is object within an object within an object within an object, it might be better to use MySQL, create a relationship, and then. So it depends on what data set you are using. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, these were the activities. So just take a few minutes, Google them, see what are the advantages of MongoDB, what are the disadvantages of MongoDB, why would you use a NoSQL database versus a SQL database. Keyword.
Sharp. You should never, ever, ever use MongoDB.
I'm kind of interested. What's the reason?
First is it's evil.
It's evil?
But then it loses data
Whoa,
sources.
you should not be.
Slow.
That's slow? Oh.
I got here from Quora. I'm sorry. I didn't know how to search and find things. So I found multiple sources.
And then you went
Yeah.
back and then it was, what is MongoDB and what are its advantages?
Yeah.
It's a little less biased.
Not my post, but a reasonable summary.
Again, I like to hear all opinions.
Yeah.
It's
Not
more,
just
or it's
the
just
pro Mongo. Because Mongo's evil. If you go to that.
You have not?
It might be like Demon. Yeah.
Long God.
on God.
See?
I am a follower of Long God.
But we all know that famous story.
It's a nightmare to scale and maintain. It has locking issues, poor response time.
There you go.
It's not ACID compliant. It's slow. This guy really doesn't.
When was this response from? Like, what
I know,
year?
this is like 4 years ago.
Did he have his computer turned on?
He just has it's a long post of why he doesn't like Mongo.
All right. So advantages. What's the good part about MongoDB? What do you guys think? What do you guys find?
It's named Mongo.
Other than that, what is it, Ivana?
I feel like that's a
Efficient
Mongo
scale-out
bonus.
architecture instead of monolithic architecture.
Okay.
Ability to handle high volume of structures, semi-structured, non-structured.
Okay.
Align.
What
All
else?
subject-oriented programming.
Easy to implement.
You don't need a lot of read and write operations on your database.
Okay. What else? Anything else?
It's great
That's on the website.
It is what? Oh, a shardability.
No shot.
All right.
It's like user customizability.
User what?
For users who log in, it can show a lot of custom information very quickly and easily. So like user
Right.
profiles.
It is definitely faster. Why is it faster? The data is transferred with JSON, right? It's compressed, so it over the network it is faster than going through your queries and everything. It does have that advantage, right? And then it's easier because if you have good knowledge of JSON, you know how it works. It's much easier than having tables and joins and writing those queries. Everything is kind of like a flat thing. That's what I think. So.
That's what somebody said. It's like you don't have to use a lot of joins.
Right.
And it feels more natural and relations, tables, and all that.
As JavaScript developers, it's a format that we like.
Yeah. Right. We are used to kind of that kind of information. What are the downsides?
Its name is Mongo. That's a Mongo downside, if you ask me.
Matt, what was that?
It has this thing called eventual consistency that sounds kind of scary.
Eventual.
It'll get there.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually it'll be right.
So again, it's the summary is at scale. As said, MongoDB is still new, right? Relative compared to SQL or relational databases, they have existed from many years compared to this. So still, it does degrade depending on how large the data set is. But for now, in this class, you will never see that degradation, right? But eventually, yes. So again, as I said, the differences I have seen is startups or like a smaller company, they kind of tend to go towards the newer technology like Node.js, MongoDB, again with its open source nature, maintainability, it's easier to implement and all that stuff versus bigger corporations who are willing to pay for support, but they want to make sure that the database goes down, there's somebody that they can call and somebody will bring that database up. MongoDB, I know there's a paid support now coming up, but usually MongoDB, the expectation is that you will be solely responsible for whatever you set up. Right? There's less support. Something goes down. You're having issues with scalability. You'll have to kind of figure it out and see what's going on. But again, it depends where you're working and what they're doing and how much the data set is, how complex or how not complex it is. That's where it comes to the decision: are you going to use NoSQL database or are you going to use MySQL database? All right. That's basically it. You will hear both sides of the stories, right? So basically, the point of this is that there are advantages, there are disadvantages. Both of these, SQL versus NoSQL, right? Don't get too caught up on it, right? You will learn MongoDB, learn it, you know how it works. You go, you get a job, they're using MongoDB, it's kind of easy to transition to that. You go to a job, they are using SQL, start using SQL. Right? Again, as I said, I've been asked interview questions about MongoDB, and then they never use MongoDB. They just ask because it's a new cool thing. They're, hey, have you used NoSQL? What is NoSQL? What is the difference between those two? There's an interesting lookup, MariaDB, M-A-R-I-A. They came up with a solution which is best of the both worlds, which I think so. They have relational database like like SQL. They also support columns which have JSON data in it. So it's like a combination of relational database and a NoSQL. Yeah.
We just released something that's in Yahoo Finance.
So they do,
That's
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah. I've used MariaDB. It's excellent. So this kind of takes care. Like I like tables. I want my structure to be organized, but there's some data that I still like to be in JSON. So it provides me by creating tables also, and within the tables I can have some columns which will hold JSON data, and when you retrieve that column, it will actually give you JSON. That's one of the things. So MariaDB is kind of interesting one. I'm not sure if it is free or not, but it kind of combines both of them. All right. Anyway, let's come back to this. Any questions before we move on to the technical part? Do some coding now. Everybody has an idea what MongoDB is. If you get asked the difference between NoSQL and SQL, think you can speak to it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All right. Most of the time, this is what they will ask. What's the difference between? I doubt they will ask you to code anything in MongoDB and write some query. But they will ask you to write SQL queries. That is they will ask you that. Yeah. MongoDB is still new thing, cool thing. They just want to make sure that you know what the concept is. All right. Everybody has MongoDB installed or not?
Yes.
This is going to be difficult.
I needed that database.
All right. So I'm going to start with the documentation, of course. And we are going to start from here. Okay? Of course, I can't see anything. All right. So the first thing is the installation. If you, let's see, if you have successfully installed Mongo, okay? This is what you should be getting. All right. Who is not getting that? Mongod, Mongod. If you have issues, please raise your hand. TAs or I will walk around and see. This is what I just typed in. You should see like a port number.
It says Mongo.
Mongod is not defined. All right, so this means that the installation is not there. Let's see, resources, documentation. So this is the guide that I followed. Installation. If you guys are Windows, I did the Mac one.
Well, you guys should not be following the Mac guide.
Let's see. So you guys downloaded the community edition and all this stuff?
Yeah.
So the first time I installed it, I did the compass thing. So then I tried to uninstall the compass thing, and then it broke my Mongo. So then I uninstalled Mongo, and then I reinstalled it, and now
Now it won't what?
no, it doesn't. It's not working. If the installer is there, and when I bring it up, it says I have it installed, but it's not obviously installed.
So when you type in Mongo, you did all the configuration, adding to your path and everything? You did?
I mean, it's right there. It says, like, I have all that above it, but it's not. It says right here, MongoDB shell version. Connecting to Mongo.
Oh, this is what I was saying. Anyway. All right. Did anybody else install Compass by mistake? You did? Is it still working? It's working? Opens what? You try that?
I can find it. It just finds the installer. And then I click on the installer, and it says I have it, but I don't have it.
GitLab it says do not install. Oh, yeah, I could open up
It's just like whatever is there, I think. Yeah, I get it for
change directory to C. Yeah, change directory. CD.
okay. Dash P. Shouldn't shut off. Shouldn't dash P. Space. Data. Oh yeah. Slash. Just
So you downloaded the system.
But when you search for it, it says 30. What is search for it?
Okay, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's so good.
I just use some of the. Yeah, so if you go to let's see if they're waiting for connection.
All right, the first one is fine. Run service of the
Mine was the
I knew when I downloaded it, I'm like,
where are you typing on? Yeah, like I have to on here. It's installed.
but like, I have this, I have to work for, I love this raise.
I mean, this is installed. I just if I run MonGod, it doesn't
do what?
I get the initialize and listening on port, blah blah blah.
Laura, do you have this one?
Yeah, let's go to that.
Just created a new one. I created this yeah. Name. I got the N, left out the
Well, well, for you, you shouldn't be downloading anything from here. If you're using Brew,
You were talking about the cars that was what? Did you mean that?
oh no, I'm talking first.
So mine, upgraded the brew and then no longer.
Yeah.
But down further. And that's where it was like.
Where is the
One
config?
more. That was.
It says the install phase. So it's already, it should already be there. So I don't think you have to do anything. No, you don't have to do anything. It already does it.
So should I just do it again?
Do what?
What was that?
Just do a brew install Mongo. Just
You have to do install.
Yeah.
so you did the
Oh, you did say that. Yeah, I remember that. That was when I was already putting. No, I know you know what you need. I know what you need, but like your brother, he's like, I know what I need, but I just haven't applied it. I'm like, dude, you've been done with your like class for 4 months now. He's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure. He's like, exactly what you're talking about is the exact reason why I don't talk about it. Because I'm afraid for it. I just talked to him about little stuff because every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, yeah, this is I'm like, dude, I'm like, it's not working. Or it's like, oh, I've been working on these projects and like getting this schedule. I was like, that's great, but get a job, dude. Like, I'm busy building something new. It's like, yeah, he's like, I'm building a little relevant website for Chelsea. I'm like, that's not gonna take those forever. If at all. Seriously, there's no relevance. It's like another day in the life of my No. They know me. I know my family is known here. So looks like you were on something. So you are. Those are the days when I it's already running on something like I was already in high school. Somewhere that it's trying to listen on.
You are using that port number, or you might have an instance that is already running. Try this, but change the port number to. Change the port number to 27017. Alright, is everybody running on 27017 port number when you do MongoDB?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Try to do it on. Sometimes I run it because look, I get right here it's on 2007. But when I run like just on God,
You cannot run it on this one. You have to use the newer. That's why I haven't done that. Yes. You put it on the server or something like that.
No, I just you did that necessarily.
Yeah, to kill that.
on God.
Kill that process.
I added it.
No, not Control C.
No.
Oh,
I thought it's running.
It is, but when I open it in another window.
No. In other window, you have to say Mongo. Just Mongo.
Well, yeah, it's right now. On gold.
Mongo, MONGO. Yeah, try this.
But use that word.
Or more violently. Kill -9.
Yes. Oh yeah, what's the?
I did. That's why I was like,
What did you run? Okay. On a new window, open a new command prompt. Service area.
do the
announcement?
are we good to go?
Open a new window and just create now try
Well, again, so
so you have to go back update your tab. So your MongoDB is running. So over here,
So I ran that and then it gave me all that.
update the service path. Oh yeah. Did you do all this stuff?
Yeah, I did all that. I added it.
No, yours is working. What's wrong with
Well, I can't run Mongod and make it do anything. I can, when I follow the steps and I add like that.
All right. So Mongod is a service that runs. Like MySQL, we go and start a service. You start MongoD, which means a daemon process run, and then you forget about it.
Okay.
And then you open a new window and type in Mongo. No, type in Mongo, then your Mongo console.
Let's see.
So this is running, and then on a different window, I'm going to say Mongo, and it should show me something like this. All right. So yeah, that's okay. So here's all right, guys. Let's get back. So MongoD means Mongo daemon. What it means is, for example, when we were running MySQL, there was a MySQL service that starts up in the background. This is exactly the same thing. So if Mongo is not running on your background, your Mongo is not going to run. So MongoD means Mongo daemon. It's a daemon process which has to run in the background. So open a window, type in MongoD. You should get something like this running on port number. This is done. Forget about it. If you close this, if you shut it down, Control C, Command C, then you won't be, your service kind of stops. Okay. In a different window, type in Mongo, and you will get the Mongo console, and that's where you will do.
If I get that,
Yes, it's
that
good.
means I'm connected.
Yeah, before the class also, you did a DB, it's connected, right?
But the only way I can get that is using, I have to drop that whole, that in.
Okay, that's fine. As long as you're getting over here, that works.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, so what now? Over here you had to do all this stuff. You did all this.
Yeah.
All right, Laura. So we will have to complete this path variable. So you have your MongoD running. It's running. The only thing is now we have to configure the other Mongo, just the Mongo part. Hey, Nick, can you help her? So she has MongoD running. I think she just needs to update the service path for Mongo to run.
So every time I have to run Mongo.
MongoD, you have to run every time.
Full experiment.
I don't know.
So her MongoD is running. You just need the Mongo console. Yes.
So I got MongoDB. When I went to load up a second instance of Bash, it's a could not fork child process.
Could not what? What? What is it?
There are no available terminals.
So you probably have too many open.
I have one open. Should I close it all out?
Yeah. Yeah, close it out and try. If that's what it is saying.
I mean, it is running.
Alright, so for people in Windows, are you using git bash or command prompt? Git bash command prompt? Okay. Try in command prompt also. If you did all these path variables.
I could do it in command prompt, but does it need to be here?
No, a command prompt is fine. It doesn't matter. As long as you get this running, and then you get this running.
So set up as variable.
And then a good test is just type in DB. It should give you a test database, just like a test. That's what it says.
Yes.
This means there's nothing over there right now.
I still don't understand.
What is what does
I
what?
mean, I get how I got there, but I thought I would just run Mongo D and then it would go to that.
Again, Mongo D is a service that has to run for your Mongo to run. So this is your, in your MySQL, it's a Windows service. It runs on the background, but this is like a terminal base, so we have to manually start the service. Mongo is the console where you're going to write all your queries, create everything, and all that stuff. This is the service. MongoD is the daemon service.
So, because that's what, like this, we're using the Romo 3T to connect to it. So
Yes,
see.
that's this part.
Okay.
But for Robo 3T also, this should be running.
Okay.
It won't be able to connect. Your service should be running. Alright, so MongoD is the service that has to run in the background. And then you type in Mongo, the console opens. Mongo doesn't have a UI at this point. So this is where you are going to create your database, collections, queries, and all that stuff. So there are two different windows. One, MongoD, it has to be running. It's a service. This is the service that allows us to use the Mongo shell. This is called Mongo shell. Okay, you will see this caret thing. And then if you type in DB or something, this is where we are going to create our collections, documents, and all that stuff. Okay, again, this is a service. It has to run once and then you can forget about it. If you're done with Mongo, Control C, stop this service. Next time you want to start, do the same thing again. Okay, this is equivalent of your MySQL service, Windows service that runs in the background. If you go in your Mac, if I go in my system preferences for MySQL, this is the service. I have it stopped. I won't be able to run MySQL at all unless I start this. This is the same thing as this one, but this is Mongo. That's the difference. So for Windows people, it already runs in the background. For Mongo, they don't have like a UI, official UI or anything, so we have to do it in the terminal, do it manually. That's the thing with Mongo. Okay? Well, yeah, run it and then you can minimize this window. You don't need this anymore. Yeah. When you're done, stop the service. Next time you want to start, MongoD, start it and then come back to our Mongo shell. Okay. I have already put one command. If you do DB, it will show you all the databases that are in your local host. Right now, there's not. It comes with a default test one. That's why you should be seeing test. Everybody sees test? Okay. No?
I see him.
That's okay. What do you see? Nothing. That's okay. Might be the version number. It might be that, but it's okay. But you should, as long as you're not getting an error, we'll create one and we'll test this out. Okay. Try this. Use lesson DB. So I'm creating a database. Create any database. It doesn't matter. Just give it a name. Same as SQL. Laura, did it work? You should get this message. Switch to lesson DB. Do you guys see that?
Got it.
Excellent. Switch to. And then if I do DB, it should show you the database that you just said use. Okay. All right. So here's the interesting thing. Oh, here's the next thing I would say, switch on to the documentation. If you go to the documentation, we did the installation part. All right, so we don't need this anymore. Let's go back. Documentation. Let me go back here. All right, resources, documentation, getting started. All right, this is what we will do. So Mongo shell. we are running these queries in our Mongo shell. Okay. Let's see what they have. Collection.insert many. All right, this is. All right, so same with SQL databases. They have CRUD operations. All right, create, read, update, delete. All right, everybody remember CRUD operations. You cannot escape them. That's always being there. All right. So we are going to start with creating a database, creating a collection, and then putting some data inside it. Okay. The first thing that we did was use lesson. All right. There's no like a create thing. If you want to create a database, the keyword you will use is use. Right. Remember, what does use do in MySQL? Switch it. That is exactly what it does. But this database does not officially or physically exist until you create a collection. Remember that. It is there. It says it has switched to it, but it hasn't really created a database. Once you create a collection, what is a collection? It's a table. Once you create a MongoDB collection or a table, that's when it actually creates a database. But we don't have to worry about it. I'm just giving you a pointer. So the next thing we have to do is we have to create a collection. Here's my terminal. All right. Let's see. Create or insert operation, add new documents to a collection. If a collection does not exist, insert options will create the collection. Everybody understand what it said? Go ahead and insert a document, and then if the collection doesn't exist, it will create a collection. That's what I was saying. If you make a typo, it will create a new collection and insert it over here. All right? The method is db.collection name and insert. So let's go to the create and then look at some of the create methods. There was a list. Right. I'm just trying to show you all the available options over here. Oh, there it is. All right. So the insert options are insert one, insert many, and insert. Okay. Insert one will insert one document. Insert many will insert many documents. And insert work both ways. If you pass in many, it's going to insert many objects. If you only pass in a single object, it will insert a single object. Now, when I talk about insert one, what am I passing? What is my parameter inside insert one? If you have to take a guess, make it JSON. An object, right? A JSON object, basically you are passing in an object. The argument or the parameter is going to be an object. Now, if I wanted to insert many, what am I passing? Huh? What is it? An array. Many objects, yeah, but an array. Give like a technical answer. An array of objects, yes. All right? Insert many, you have to pass an array of objects. Insert works both ways. So if you pass a single object, it will insert one. If you pass an array of objects, it will insert many. All right, so let's try the insert option. Where's my, oh, it's over here. So I have my database created, and I'm going to insert db.collection name. I'm going to call it places. Dot insert. Okay. And then I have to pass in an object. Now, does the places collection exist? It does not exist. Okay. But if you do this, it's going to create the collection also, and then also insert a document.
Why did it just left? It said bye.
Bye.
I don't understand. I was in it, and I created a database, and then I tried to insert one, and it was like, it's not defined, and I tried it again, and then it said 5.
All right, we'll come to that. All right, so before I insert, here's the command to see all the collections. Show collections. Right now, I shouldn't have any collections, so it says. So there's no collections. All right, show collections. It says nothing is there. All right, so let's go ahead and insert a collection in data. So db dot anything you want, places dot insert, and then pass in an object. Okay. All right. Let's see. What do I need to pass in? Oh my god, I hate this. Let me see. All right, pass in any JSON object without making any typo, which I'm going to do just now. All right, so let's say I'm creating a places collection. First thing is continent. Okay. I'm going to pass in something. My next attribute is country. I'm going to pass some country. All right. And then I'm going to pass in an array of some cities. I have 1, 2. Okay. Everybody seeing this? So I'm creating a collection. It's called places. My collection has 3 attributes: continent, country, and major cities. Right. The first 2 are strings. The last one is an array of strings, basically. All right. This is JSON written in single line. That's how painful it is to see. It's JSON in single line. All right. So let's go ahead and fill this data. Where's my... All right, let's say Africa, and I'm looking for a country, Wakanda. All right, Wakanda forever. All right, let's go ahead and find some major cities. Say Jabari village is there. Okay, let's say these are the 2 major cities in Wakanda. All right, so if everything is correct, your syntax is correct, this should go ahead and insert not only entry, it should also insert your collection. So it's giving me an error. What am I missing? Oh, I think I have the array syntax wrong, right? Shouldn't I have a... So this is for this is for this. Oh, I have extra this thing? Yeah. Is that it? All right, that's better. Inserted 1, now, so what it did, it created a collection. So let's go ahead and do show collections, and we should see our collections. All right, so I see my collection places. All right, and then I have some data. We'll look at the query to get the data back, but this is what it did. So I have a database called lesson. If you do db lesson db, within the lesson db I have 1 collection called places, and then within places I have a document. All right, the next query would be to look up the document. Okay, if I want to insert another document, same thing, dot insert, and then add another one. Do you want to see me painfully writing another document?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
We want to see you squirm.
All right. Good thing is I'm going to just use my up arrow and I'm going to change these. Oh, insert many, that's a good idea. Or you can pass this, instead of an one, I can pass in an array of objects and it will insert more than one. Right?
So just saying insert doesn't insert one. That's what
It does both. Now, how do you know which it does? If you pass in a single object, it will insert one. If you pass an array of objects, it will do insert many.
Okay, so that just by passes basically insert
Right.
one and insert many. Okay.
Insert method, but you also have two more methods, insert word, insert many, that are very specific. So you can use any three of those.
Okay.
Okay? All right. So go ahead and insert one more. Let's see. Totally real country.
Sounds real.
It is.
Sounds like a bunch of commas.
So you said that it's not showing you the collection, right? When you show collections, it's showing you the database.
It is showing what?
Where you put show collections and then
It shows collections. So when I do show collection, it shows me collections. What is collections? DB shows me database. So I have a lesson database. Collection is a table. All right. Again, I'm not going to use the word table after today, but we are new, so collections is table in MySQL. Okay. All right. Everybody good with insert? So go ahead and do the create the find one. If I can get to the documentation, you guys are probably already there. No? How is that possible? CRUD operations, find or read. It's called dot find. All right, pretty straightforward. Do a dot find and it should get you your data back. Same thing with find. Let's do a simple find and then you can go ahead and create more complex one. db.places.find. All right, I'm going to pass in an empty object and then it shows me all my documents in the database. Okay, it kind of doesn't look good, so there's a method called .pretty. Add that and this will show you, this is much better looking. All right, .find empty object, will come to the empty object part. So db.collection.find.pretty kind of makes it look nicer. So I have two documents in my database. All right, do you guys see the object ID, the first one? All right, remember from Firebase, it actually adds an ID so you can differentiate between the two documents. And this is the primary key of MySQL. Over here, we don't call it primary key, we just call it ID. All right, everybody good? Find method working. Now find, I ran find with an empty object. What does it relate to when I talk about in MySQL? If I have to pass something in, what clause would that be? What is it? All right, so I'm trying to find something. So this is my select star from a table name in MySQL, right? So I'm basically saying select star from places, all right? If I pass in something in my object, what clause am I referring to? Like, what is it adding? Where. Select star from this table where something is. So for example, if I pass in where continent is Africa. So it's going to give me one document back. Okay, so that's where your where clause comes in. If you want to find any specific document, that's where the condition goes. All right? Everybody good?
Well, can you scroll up a little bit?
Which command are you looking for?
Just what was the pretty?
Oh, if you do it without pretty,
It looks really stupid.
Ugly.
it looks ugly.
It's all like in one line, basically.
Like this.
Ah.
Pretty just makes it like a JSON formatter, so you can see it. Okay. All right. Let's do the next exercise. This is just creating a same thing. It's this time you are creating a database of. Oops. You're creating a new collection called. You're creating a new database called Classroom. Insert some properties, a field name, a person's name, row number. The third one is an array. Oh, the fourth one is an array. So create the same thing that I just showed you. Create a collection, and then find that collection list, entry of a single person, entry for all the users in your row. And then the bonus is basically looking at the next one, update and delete. We'll take a look at that one. Oh, it's finding you in an array. The documentation has this one, so take a look at the documentation for this one. Again, it's the same thing. I created a lesson DB, create a new database. How do you create a new database? Just say use database name, right? Then you create a collection. How do you create a collection? Once you insert a document, it will automatically create a collection for you. So do a db dot classroom database, and then oh, you don't need the classroom database. db dot create a collection called, what is it, students? Oh yeah, students. So db dot students dot insert, and then insert JSON. And then use db.students.find, and it should give you your data back. Yes.
Does, if it's a number, does it have to be in quotes? Does it have to be inserted as a string?
It'll get inserted as a number, just like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I just, after I said that, I just saw that up there, the 18, those numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
documentation. Yep.
Yeah, like what happens if I did a find and it doesn't do anything? It just
You
does
didn't
not-
find it.
Doesn't find it. Okay, so it works. I'm just like putting them in the wrong database.
Oh, okay.
There they are.
So did you do the use database name?
Well,
You have to
no,
use.
yeah, that's why. I just did DB database name insert.
Use database. Same thing. Remember MySQL, you have to switch.
Yeah,
So
you
use.
select the one you use. Okay. So if you create it, it's there, but you have to tell it
Yeah.
which one to use first. Okay, yeah, there we go.
Whatever feels right here.
There we go.
Yes.
That was the first one.
All right. Is the database created and then
Yes.
able to insert some documents? Good.
That's tedious, though.
And then it is. Yes. Welcome to MongoDB. All right. So from the CRUD operation, we did the create and the read. Let's look at update and delete. If you did the create and read, update and delete are extremely similar. As you would have guessed, the operations are db.collection.update and then .delete. Okay. So, oops. Take a look at the documentation for update.
You're crazy.
All right. Yes.
So for the row, so
What is it?
we insert a number.
It's a number.
Usually we don't.
Alright, let me see.
Yeah. It is the same as JSON data types. You have a number in JSON, you have a float, you have a string, same thing. No difference.
So, okay.
Yep. All right. Update is similar as insert. It has update one, update many, replace one, and then update. Right? Update is same thing. If you pass in one object, it's going to update one. If you pass in an array, it's going to update multiple ones. So let's go ahead and try this one. Update and then pass in a set command. So here's my db dot places dot update. Okay, I'm going to update a single object, and then I'm going to so what do I update? Country. So for country, oh, I do have a typo. Oh, over here. I was looking at the different typo, but thank you for that. Country, Sokovia, the continent is spelled differently, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that. So for Sokovia, this is the record that's going to find, and then same as MySQL, there's a set command. So $set, and then what am I trying to set? I'm trying to set the continent correct. Continent. Okay.
You just put what you're going to change it to.
Yeah. So the set has what you're trying to change. Right? The first part is which record you want to find. So I'm trying to find a document which has the country Sokovia, which is my second document. All right. And what am I trying to update? I'm trying to update the field continent, and my new value is Europe. Okay. So if this is correct, the syntax is correct, should go ahead and update.
True.
All right. True. So go ahead and db.places.find .pretty .places .find .find .pretty. Okay, so continent is updated.
So would that update function change every document that had the
Good question.
parameter?
Yes. This update parameter, well, not this one. So if you use the update just as I have it right now, it's going to update the first document that it matches. It won't update many. Okay. Now, if you want that to happen, then there's a keyword that you can add in the end, which says multi true. If you add this, then it's going to go ahead and find all the documents that match this criteria and update them. Or the other way is use update many. All right, you have the method already available over here. Update many, the second one, right? If you just use update many, it's going to update all the documents that match the specified criteria. Update one is going to only update only one document, and that's the first one. All right. Now here's the interesting part, which I was talking about, the typo thing. But I'm not going to make a typo. Instead, I'm going to. So let's suppose.
That's so cool.
Alright, so I'm going to use the same command. I'm going to update only one, so I don't have to worry about multi. I'm going to remove multi. And then let's suppose I set capital oops, I lost my mouse. All right. Look at this command. What I have. Can you guys see it, or should I zoom out? Is that better? Okay. I'm using the update query. All right. Update function. I'm setting the capital field to this thing, Novigrad. Do I have a capital field? No. Now, they should actually error out saying, oh, there's no capital field, I cannot update it, but unfortunately that's not what it does. It actually will go ahead and insert a field called capital. So if you do db.places.find, let's just find all. You see the capital?
Yeah.
There it is. The first one doesn't have the capital, the second one has it.
I don't care where I'll put it. I'll just put it in there.
Wild West, right there. Perfect for JavaScript. JavaScript and
It doesn't take the country Sokovia and replace it with capital.
No?
It just adds it.
Just adds it in there, like, oh well.
It will just add it. Again, this is the command that I run. I said find a country Sokovia and set the capital to Novigrad. If it exists, it's going to update it. If it doesn't exist, it will go ahead and put that field right there.
Adds a new field.
So if you make a typo,
It adds a new
this is what's going to happen over here.
There's gonna be lots of destroying.
Yes, but good thing is we have a UI, so we'll take a look at that one. All right, let's do the last one quickly. It's an easy one. Dot remove for delete. All right, try the delete. You can delete this. I made a mistake in adding the capital. Let's suppose there was a typo, so I'm going to go ahead and remove it. So db dot places dot remove. All right, same thing. What do you want to remove? You can pass over here. Let's suppose any record that matches country, Sokovia. Okay, so you see removed one. Let's go ahead and do a find to make sure this is gone. All right, this is gone. If I want to remove all of them, db dot places dot remove everything. Oops, forgot that print. So I want to remove everything, no criteria, just go ahead and remove everything. db.find, there's nothing. I don't like the collection. Show collections, right? I have one collection, places. If I want to delete the collection, dot what? Drop. Dot drop will delete the collection. All right. Hold on. Let me complete this. Drop. Now go ahead and do a show collections. Collections are gone. I still have my database. If I want to drop my database, dot db dot drop database. All right. Everything is gone. Oh, it still shows. Why is it still shows? What is it? No, this should drop. That's what I was saying. It says okay. Remember, it doesn't have anything over there. If you look at Robo 3D, we'll take a look at it. It doesn't actually exist. It just keeps like in memory if you go ahead and insert a collection. So basically, it drops everything.
So it's saying drop
Right. It says OK one, so this means it like cleaned up the whole database. Okay. What was the question? Did you have a question, Geoffrey?
No. Well, yeah, because I was looking. I mean, I didn't even see the remove. I was just looking at delete.
Yeah. It's let's go back and look at the delete ones. Where's the
You want update or where were you?
update and then delete?
Where did we find it? Yeah, I don't see that. That's what I was looking for. And I just deleted it.
There it is.
Where?
Remove.
Oh.
So same thing. Delete one. Delete many. Dot remove.
That little teeny remove. Okay, it is there.
Guys, we are 7 weeks away. We should be good at reading documentation now. All right. Any other questions? All right. So now I know this is a lot of typing, so that's why I had you guys install Robo3T. That's the MySQL workbench. Again, for that to work, you should have your MongoD running, and then go ahead and open your. Where's my Robo3T? Oh, there it is. Okay, this will come up localhost connection. Everybody understand this? Same thing as MySQL Workbench, right? Localhost connection. Go ahead and click OK or connect, and this should give you your data. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. This gives it over here. What is it? What is it?
You removed it.
Oh yeah, no, that's a no. I made it with a big screen. Now I can't actually see what's over there. Right. So go ahead and you can do the same thing over here. Right click, much easier. Create database. All right. Same thing. I will create lesson DB. All right. There's my database created. What's the next thing I need to do? Create collections. Well, use if you're typing, but over here it's create collection. So. Open this up, you will see collection function users. Right click collection, create collection.
Oh, you can just do it over there.
Yeah, just do it over there. So I called it places. Usually collection is plural. So anytime you're creating a collection, you will see it places or something. Classrooms, names. No comment. All right. So I have my places. Now, what's the last thing I need to do? If I have my collection, I need to insert a document. So go ahead and do an insert document. Here's the thing that this is a JSON database, right? JSON. So you have to put in a JSON over here, exactly, right? So you still have to have that JSON. So let's see if I can copy. No, yeah, you just do a yeah. Yes. Yep. So I'm not sure if there's any typo. Let me know. Otherwise, I think I'm just going to insert this. Okay. So. Same thing, add a JSON, go ahead and do a save, and this should go ahead and insert document.
JSON is valid.
Where is it? View documents. So now you can go ahead and do a view document, and this should come up over here. Double click, shows your fields, ID. Okay. You can update your documents. So go ahead and do what are you trying to update. So it puts the query over here, and then same thing that we saw over here. Update. What are we trying to update?
Oh, it has it all there.
It has it all there. Yeah. So I'm trying to update the country.
That's cool. This is obviously run by people who were born after 1991. It's not ugly like SQL Workbench.
All right. Before that, let me go back here. View documents update. All right. We saw the delete one. All right. It's almost towards the delete thing. Go ahead. You can remove these documents if you have multiple documents. This is easier. If you want to update a document, if you just select the document and right click edit. This will directly take you to what you're trying to update. So this is much easier. Let's go ahead and
Wait, how did what did you do?
see. That's why I was saying. Listen.
I was looking.
All right. Let's go back and start from here. So I have my places created. I have one document, view document. Now if you come to this document, you would right click. You have edit, insert, and blah blah. You can delete it and you can edit it. Edit will update your document. So go ahead and do edit. This is much easier. And then you say content Europe, Sokovia, and then go ahead and save this and your document should be updated. View document. There it is. Go ahead. You can go ahead and do delete. Yes, deleted. You want to delete the collection, drop collection. You don't want to stop now. You're already at the end, so I'm going to drop the database also. And there it is. All right. I heard somebody doesn't like Robo 3D. They're going to use Terminal. Who said that?
No.
That's like hard.
I love typing out loud.
All right.
I mean, I prefer making my databases by etching them out into stone. But I mean, if it's lets her go.
Flintstones program.
All right, so there's a exercise. Nico, could you slack out the last one? It's for delete and using Robo 3D. Give it a try for last 8 minutes, and this concludes MongoDB. Right? Intro. Wow, that's it. Done. You guys should be.
That's it.
Not coming over here. The next.
All you can do.
The next class is we are going to write code in Node.js. So you better get used to this. This is it. This is done. Yeah, we are back to Node.js.
Yay, we learned Mongo, everyone!
Add that to your resume, and there you go. You know MongoDB now. Update your LinkedIn. There you go.
Already done.
Certified by
I bet Ali did it last week.
Oh, with Mongo, I don't think
No, you did that last month. It's okay. We get it.
All right, here's the exercise. Give it a try in Robo 3D. You want to do it in Terminal, both are fine. But just make sure, go through the documentation, understand the methods, because that's what we will be using in our code. Okay? You did it? Okay. If you already did it, this is all I have for MongoDB today. We'll look at some Node.js code on Thursday. Huh? Of course, we did for MySQL. They're going to finish it. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
For now.